All right, so here's an overview of all those words and expressions we had about jobs. So like employment, job, occupation, labor, profession, vacation, trade or skill, which is here trade doesn't mean commerce, doesn't mean export and import. If you go learn a trade, it means you learn to become a carpenter or a locksmith, right? It's like you go learn a trade. So we know what a job or occupational labor basically is, the labor market. That's my profession, a professional soccer player. What is your vocation? But we also have career. We talked about a gig. Musicians have gigs in different cities and towns, right? A short temporary performance by, for example, a musician. That's a gig. That's my livelihood. If something is your livelihood, that is your job, the way you make money and the way you live. Business. Now, what's your job or what's your occupation? We talked about what do you do for a living? Remember? So what do you do for a living? What do you do for a living? What's your dream job? We just talked about it today. So if somebody asks you, hey, what do you do for a living? It means what's your job, right? And occupational, professional, vocational, a professional soccer player. And we talked about it. Professional basically has two meanings. A professional player is somebody who works for money. That's his job. Also somebody who's is professional, is an expert at doing something. So then we had worker, employee, laborer, the Labor Day, which is usually May the 1st around the world. Colleague, my colleagues, co-workers, boss, manager, my superior. Who's your superior? The person on top of you, right? When we have a hierarchy, and we have talked about the hierarchy, right? So the hierarchy, which is as you go up, from simple employees to higher-ups, the senior management, somebody's your superior. He's your superior, he's your boss, right? Directly. Then employment, unemployment. We talked about the official unemployment rate, employer, employee, employed, unemployed. We talked about equal opportunity employers. HR, who's the human resource and or the human resource department. HR is in charge of hiring and firing, is in charge of, right? Remember we said who's in charge here? Who is in charge? Yeah. To hire, to recruit, to employ. To fire, to kick out, to sack, to dismiss, to lay off, right? So to sack. He was sacked last week. Means he was fired, right? So recruitment, new recruits, recruitment companies. 200 GM workers were laid off last week. There's a difference between being fired and being laid off, right? You're laid off when the business is not doing fine, when the business is losing money, or the company goes bankrupt, or for some reason they need to size down. You know, the GM is sizing down its operations, meaning due to the economic recession, due to financial problems, right? Then we have 500 jobs were axed. This we didn't have before. If a job is axed, you know what an axe is? What's an axe? I want to say goodbye to this, but let's go to a new page and let's go to Google Images. What's an axe? This is an axe. If jobs are axed, it means jobs are lost, right? So 500 jobs were axed, means lost. To lose one's job, he was pink slipped. We didn't have pink slip either. So when you say receive a pink slip, that means you're fired. To resign, resignation, right? To resign, he resigned. The president resigned last week. Or he resigned from his post. He resigned. Resignation. Retire, retirement, we talked about it. A person who retires is a retiree, right? Retiree. Retiree, which is not there, it's just double retire, and you should add another E. To receive pension, to become a pensioner. To receive unemployment benefits, to be on welfare. Yeah, if you receive on welfare, he's on welfare, on welfare. Just receive money from the government. Economic recession, depression, jobless, out of work. When you're jobless or when you're out of work. And then we have job versus work. Remember, so if somebody's jobless, somebody's out of work, we had some other stuff like poverty, right? To live in poverty. To live, to be or live below the poverty line. The poverty line, right? And then if you're jobless and unemployed and you become poor, sometimes homeless and homelessness, that becomes a problem. Yeah? Job versus work. Do you remember some of the things we talked about? Like, for example, to work full-time or part-time, but to have a full-time or part-time job, right? To have a full-time or part-time job, but to work full-time or part-time, correct? A 9 to 5 what? 9 to 5 work or job?
Work.
A 9 to 5 job. Yeah? A well-paid job. Yeah? If I say you've done a great job, oh, wow. Wow. You've done a great what? Work? Great job. Oh, look, you've done a great job. Thank you. You've done a great job, right? Yeah, you've done a great job. You've done a good job. Good job. Say good job, huh? Means, but I can't go out with you today. I can't go out with you today. I have because I have lots of what? Job? Work to do. I have a lot of work to do. So, you can work for somebody in a company or with some people. Yeah? Work in, for, or with. They work in a bank, work with, yeah, or work for. I'm a bit nervous. I'm starting a new what next week?
Job.
Job. So this must be job next week. I hear you're a truck driver. Lorry driver means truck driver. That's British. Lorry is British. I bet that's hard work, isn't it? So it's a hard job, but that's hard work. If it's a, so I'm looking for part-time. I'm looking for part-time work. A part-time job. So a part-time job, but I'm looking for part-time work. A full-time job would be too much for me at the moment, right? I didn't really want to go back to work after I had the baby. Not go back to job. I'm sorry I can't stop now. I've got a lot of work to do. Judging by the car he drives, I'd say he's got a pretty good job. I'm hoping to find some casual work while I'm at college, working in a bar or a shop. I want to do something a bit different. I wouldn't like a regular 9 to 5 job. Now, job adjectives. We talked about a permanent job, a temporary position, a full-time or part-time job, flex-time, flexi-time British, a 9 to 5 job, 9 to 5 job, 9 to 5 job, 3 different ways of writing it. An entry-level job or position. That's where you start in a company, right? It's an entry-level job. The pay is not high because you just start, right? It's entry level or position. You have different shifts: morning shift, evening shift, night shift, graveyard shift, which is usually the after 12. A survival job only helps you survive. We talked about it. A dead-end job, we didn't talk about it. A dead-end job is a job with no room for growth. There is no room, no potential for growth. If something is a dead-end job, you don't get anywhere else. You just do that job for life. Do you know any dead-end jobs? Like working in a restaurant, not becoming a manager. For example, if you are a burger flipper, you just flip burgers from morning to night. And you say that's a dead-end job. It's like a dead-end street. No room, no potential for growth. A demanding job and a job in demand were different, right? So a demanding job was a job that was difficult. It requires many. Actually, there are so many things that you should do. There are so many responsibilities and duties. But a job that is in demand, there's a huge demand for that job. Demanding, challenging, rewarding. A rewarding job is a job that's rewarding. It means, is it only money, a rewarding job? No, not just money, right? Teaching could be rewarding, even though the money return is not really good. It depends on job satisfaction. So if you have good job satisfaction of teaching, you see the students actually grow and develop. So it feels good. So it's a rewarding job. Now, a thankless job, we talked about it. A job when no one actually appreciates you. And you say, hey, I don't feel appreciated. We had it, right? So it's a thankless job. No matter how hard you work, nobody sees it, nobody appreciates it, nobody recognizes your effort. Stressful job, boring job. What is the next one? After boring? You have it on paper. That's closer to your eyes. Repetitive. A repetitive job is you repeat the same old every day. It's the same old, huh? So we have the same old. You do the same old every day. It's repetitive. You repeat the same thing. It's a repetitive job. Some jobs are dynamic. Some jobs are competitive. There's a lot of competition. My job involves human contact, lifting heavy objects, so on and so forth. So what does your job involve? A well-paid job, a low-paid or low-paying job, a blue-collar job. What was a blue-collar job? Do you remember? It was manual labor and like physical, right? As opposed to white-collar job. So physical or manual labor. Physical labor, manual labor. A white-collar job, on the other hand, it's maybe an administrative job, higher position jobs, management jobs. So management. And what was the adjective for manager? Managerial. Managerial.
Is this for women?
Oh, could be for men and women. Manager, it's just manager becomes managerial. We have manageress, but we don't use that very often. So we use pretty much manager for both. To work from home, we have it. Some people prefer to work from home. To be self-employed. When you're self-employed, you're your own boss, right? John has his own business. He is his own boss. To run a business, to own a business. Yeah? You would like to own your own business, to own a business, to run your own business. To be an entrepreneur, we had the word entrepreneur. And entrepreneurial was the adjective, entrepreneurial spirit. The advantages and disadvantages of owning a business, of course. We have then owning a business, too many responsibilities and duties. You're responsible for everything. On the other hand, well, it's your business and you control everything. You're in control. Job conscious and job conscientious. What is job conscience? So workers that have job conscience or employees that have job conscience, they're preferred by employers because that basically means you're a job conscious person. You care about your work. and your job or your work is important to you. So a job conscientious employee, we had it, right? Job conscious, a person who works hard and diligently and cares about the work. Minimum wage jobs or survival jobs only help keep the body and soul together, right? These days, the economy is so bad, it's really hard to keep the body and soul together. It's hard to make ends meet. When you make ends meet, a lot of people are living hand to mouth. To live from paycheck to paycheck. Every paycheck you have to wait for the next paycheck. We covered them all. So we talked about this as well, that when you work for a wage. If it's weekly, if it's hourly, it's wage. So we have it down here. So like annual, monthly. So wage, if it's weekly or hourly, it's wage. If it's monthly or annual, salary, your monthly salary, your annual salary, which is per year. Compensation is the money they use, that's a formal word for the money you get or make. Minimum wage, in Canada, in Ontario it's around $11 per hour. It differs from state to state. Commission is the money. Some jobs are only based on commission. Some jobs are based on tips. So restaurant jobs, server jobs are based on tips. But some jobs are based only 100% commission. That is, there's no fixed rate, hourly rate or wage. All you make is based on a commission. Pensioner, benefits, perquisites or perks are like the benefits. To get or ask for a raise, we talked about it. Raise is American British people ask for a rise, which is a pay hike, right? So you ask for more money. So to ask for a raise, pay hike, promotion, to get promoted. You get promoted in a business, in a job from, for example, we talked about it, an associate to store manager. It's getting promoted. To get demoted. When you get demoted, demotion is about the opposite of promotion is demotion. If you are a store manager and you become an associate, that's demotion. Income, your revenue, your income tax, and then, for example, if your revenue exceeds your income, take-home pay is the money that you can take after tax, right? So your take-home pay or your disposable income. So take-home pay or disposable income is the money you get to take home after tax. For example, if your salary is $120,000, I would ask, what is your take-home pay? And he would say, for example, $80,000. 80K. That is your after-tax income, disposable income. That is after-tax deduction. Right? After tax has been subtracted from your salary. To make versus earn money, this is something I wanted to remind Mako of today. So you don't earn a lot of money, you just make a lot of money, because earning is kind of hard. I don't want to waste my hard-earned money, because earning is when they say if you marry for money, you will earn it. What does that mean? If you marry for money, it's an expression. If you marry for money, you'll earn it. Some people marry for money. They marry a rich guy. But then this expression says that it's always hard to get money from a rich guy, and it's because you don't enjoy your life. It's actually because of all the pain that you have to go through for that money. It's like making that money. It's like earning it. Annual salary, monthly salary, hourly, weekly wage. Wage earner is a person who actually gets a wage. Wage earner. The working conditions. Well, you need to have a leave. Sometimes you ask for a leave. Paid or unpaid leave is when you need to have a few days off. You would say, I need a couple of days off. Days off. So that's a leave. Like we have maternity leave, paternity leave, so we'll have unpaid maternity leave, paternity leave, sick leave, when you're sick. And also, we have to call in sick. To call in sick. So if one day you don't want to go to work because you're sick and you call your workplace and tell them, sorry, I'm sick, and you report it, and I can't come to work. Where is Claudia? She called in sick. She called in sick, to call in sick. She called in sick. Paternity leave, maternity leave, sick leave. So maternity leave was like when a woman is pregnant, and also beyond that, she needs to take care of her child or children. And paternity leave is for fathers also. In Canada, for example, you can split the 1 year maternity leave, 6 months a mom, like 6 months dad, or 8 months mom, 4 months dad. Then we have vacation pay, of course, insurance, health or life insurance, dental care coverage or dental care. Every time you go to work, you clock in or clock out, or punch in and punch out. To work overtime, we had it. The regular work finishes at 5 if you stay until 7, 2 hours of overtime. Overtime pay, job satisfaction is important. Sometimes money is also a factor, but job satisfaction, there's so many factors. You get to love or hate your job, so that's job satisfaction is important. To enjoy one's job, and long working hours. Some jobs have long working hours. Some people have problems with long working hours. So there's a hierarchy, we talked about it, from entry-level employees to senior management. We have the boss, manager, director, executive director, a CEO, a CFO. CEO, CFO. CEO is Chief Executive Officer, CFO is Chief Financial Officer, right? Chief Executive Officer. And of course, CFO is Chief Financial Officer. So I can use the same. Your boss could be friendly, strict, easygoing, understanding, thoughtful, considerate. Yeah. Also, your adjectives are employees. Employees should be punctual, on time, right? Punctual. The punctuality is important. Cooperative, flexible, friendly, patient, adaptable, obedient, able to work under pressure and meet tight deadlines. Team players, they should have excellent teamwork, great interpersonal relations. We talked about all this. And then we have the process of applying for a job. We have job applicants, job applicant, job seeker. To apply for a job, and this is to apply in person or online. We talked about it. You can apply in person. If you apply in person, you go drop off your resume. You go to the place and drop off your resume, and if you apply online, you email your resume or your CV. CV is British. Here in Canada and the US, we use the word resume. Cover letter. We talked about a cover letter, what cover letter is. You can search for a job, look for a job, job seekers, hunters, classified ads, TV commercials. You see a job posting in a website, online, you can see a job posting. That is a job ad, advertisement for a job posting. There's a job vacancy. So you may call a company and say, is there a job vacancy there? Sorry, is there a vacancy for this position? Opening, an open or vacant position. So there's a job opening, there's an open position, there's a vacant position, vacancy. There are ads. In the ads, there's job description. We talked about it. They require certain qualifications. They ask for certain qualifications. There are certain requirements like computer language skills, degrees, education, experience, things like that. Then they want to know about your availability, right? The word is availability, which is, are you available on weekends and evenings? Are you available full-time or part-time? To work, we talked about it, if you work every other weekend or Saturday or Sunday, you work this weekend, you don't work the other weekend, the next weekend. You work this Saturday, you don't work the next Saturday, and then you work the Saturday after. So that's to work every other weekend. I work every other Saturday. I work every other Sunday. Degrees, certificates, diplomas, experience, these are all the things that are part of the requirements you need for a job. To land an interview, we talked about it. If you land an interview, you're successful, you land an interview, a job. Successful resumes will be contacted only. Usually they write that, thank you for your interest. So they say, we thank everyone for their interest, but only successful resumes will be contacted. Yeah? Interview skills to make a good first impression. We talked about it. To make a good initial impression, to make a good impression on the interviewer. Probation, probationary period. Do you remember probation? It was the trial period. When you get a job maybe for 1 month, there's a trial period. Internship, intern, apprenticeship, apprentice. Voluntary work, to work as a volunteer. We had this. To work as a volunteer. Expectations, what are your expectations? TBC is an acronym that means, is an abbreviation that means to be considered. For example, if they write about your pay, TBC, it means to be considered. It's usually around minimum pay wage. If the pay is commensurate with skills, that basically means an experience. That means your pay will depend on how much experience you have. The more experience, the more pay, the pay. Potential room for growth, we have room for growth, potential for growth. Working mothers, a working mother is a mother who works. Housewives and the workforce, job market, so on and so forth. Now, here's a list of jobs real quickly. For us, it's a lot of jobs. Well, we talked about jobs, but then it's a more comprehensive list, and I thought maybe it's good to have a look at a list of jobs. So we have accountants and auditors. So Claudia, what's the difference between an accountant and an auditor?
An accountant
does the accounting, but the auditor checks the accountant's work. So an auditor, what an auditor does is the auditor checks the job the accountant has done. Yeah? Makes sure that the accountant has done an accurate job, right? So actors and actresses, clerks, yeah? You know clerks, right? Those who work in an office. Admin jobs, administrative jobs. You work in an office. Advertising sales agent. You can be an advertiser, advertising sales agent. Aerospace engineer jobs in NASA. You can work in aerospace. Agricultural or farm jobs, agricultural engineer jobs. Air crew. Maybe someday Yuko will become part of the air crew, right? Air traffic controller jobs. Air assembler jobs, aircraft assembler, air traffic controller, aircraft assembler. Aircraft body repair jobs, repairing the body of airplanes. Aircraft cargo handling supervisor jobs. Aircraft engine specialist jobs, let's forget about airplanes. Airline pilots or co-pilots. You know co-pilots? So we have pilot and co-pilot. The co-pilot sits next to the pilot, right? We also have flight engineer jobs. So these are all the jobs you can look at. Alteration tailor jobs. Remember tailor? The word tailor, but alteration? We talk about alteration. If you shorten something, you whiten something, you tighten something, these are alterations, right? Ambulance driver. Anesthesiologist. That's kind of, if you go for a surgery, the person who makes you become numb, you don't feel anything, is the anesthesiologist. So anesthesiologist is the person who anesthetizes you. Now we will look at this job and when we study medicine, and we look at health and diseases. But an anesthesiologist is a person who is in the operating room and puts a patient, makes a patient numb so you don't feel the pain. Animal breeder, people who breed animals. Animal care workers. Animal trainers. Announcers on radio and television or in a sports stadium. So these are announcers. answering service jobs, anthropologist or archaeologist jobs. So anthropologists, I don't need anthropology teachers, but so anthropologist, it's a kind of job. It's anthropology is when you study human beings and different cultures. But archaeologists, those who dig the ground for old things, right? So those are archaeologists. Archaeologists. Appliance repair jobs. Appliances are like in the kitchen. What do you have in the kitchen? You have a stove, you have a fridge, you have a freezer, you have things like that. All those are appliances, right? So a person who repairs appliances is clear, right? An appliance repair. Again, archaeologist jobs. Architect jobs. Architect, right? So we know architect. Art director. Art teacher. Artist. Astronomers. Who are the astronomers? They look at the stars in the sky and what's happening. That's an astronomer. Athletes and sports competitor jobs. Athletes. Athletic trainer jobs. Atmospheric and space scientist jobs. Audio and video equipment technician jobs. Audiologist jobs. It's all about audiology. It's about like your ear, the way we hear things and all. So an auditor jobs, like we talked about accountants and auditors. Bakers, they make bread. Barbers, they cut hair, especially guys. For women, we don't say barber. What do we say for women?
Hairstylist.
Hairstylist. So we call them, for women we say hair stylists or hairdressers. Hairdresser. So a hairdresser for women. Hairdresser, not a barber. So barber is like a barbershops for guys. Bartenders. Yeah, bartenders. Bellhop jobs are in hotels. Where does a bellhop work? A bellhop works in a hotel. Takes your stuff to your room, or room service brings in room service, or takes your suitcases like your luggage to your bellhop. Bicycle repairer. Bill and account collector jobs, not important. Biological science teacher. Biological scientist jobs. Biological technician jobs in labs. Biological jobs. Biomedical engineer. The biomedical engineer guys, they make things for doctors. The things that they have, the tools that doctors use, the equipment. Boat builders and shipwright jobs. They make ships and boats. Boat builders and shipwright. Bookbinders. Who's a bookbinder? You have a pamphlet, you want to write something for your university and you want to make it look like a book. The bookbinders would make it look like a book and also put books together. Bookkeeper jobs. In companies and different places, a person who keeps record of names and different people and the books and then the office, that's a bookkeeper. Broadcast news analyst jobs. These are broadcast news analysts, broadcast technician, building cleaning workers. So cleaning workers, they come to your houses or buildings and clean. Building inspector jobs, these are inspect the buildings to see that the buildings are safe and they meet environmental standards or urban planning standards. Bulldozer operator jobs. In a bulldozer, we don't say bulldozer driver. A bulldozer or derrick, we have an operator. Bulldozer operator jobs, bus driver jobs, business manager jobs, butcher jobs. Everyone knows butcher, right? Meat. Cabinet makers, they make cabinets. Cafeteria cook. Camera operators, camera repair jobs, they repair cameras. Career counselor jobs, they give you counseling for your career. Carpenter jobs, we talked about it, those people who make things out of wood. Carpet installer jobs, they install carpets on the floor here. On the floor we have carpet. Cartographer, they make maps. Cartoonist jobs, who's a cartoonist? They draw cartoons, right? Carver jobs, they carve wood and things and they make statues. Cashier jobs, right? In banks and in different places, cashier jobs. Casting machine operator jobs, these are jobs for casting machines. They put molten iron into different molds and they make things. So it's just not necessarily something you need to know. Roof tile installer jobs, they install tiles on the roofs. They make roofs, roofers. Cement mason and concrete finisher jobs, not important. CEO, CFO, chef jobs, chemical engineer jobs, chemist jobs, childcare jobs, childcare worker jobs. Chiropractor jobs. Chiropractors are interesting people. Who are the chiropractors? There are certain kinds of, like doctors, when you have a problem in your back or anywhere, you go to a chiropractor and say, hey, fix me. So he does some things with his hands, like, and he fixes your back or your muscles by just moving them, and you feel better. So chiropractors are quite popular in the US and here in Canada as well, I guess. So, choreographer, what is choreography?
From dance.
For dancers, they do choreography. Choreography. For dancing movements. Choreographer is a person who teaches dancers to move together. Yes, simultaneously sing. Civil engineer jobs, they are civil engineers. They make roads and bridges and things like that. Cleaners of vehicles, like you go to a car wash, those who clean the vehicles. Clergy jobs, you can be a priest or a bishop or the cardinal, right? Like priest, bishop, cardinal, or pope. Yeah? That's a job, becoming a pope. Is it? Clerk jobs, clinical psychologist, you can be a psychologist. Coach or scout jobs, composer jobs, you can become a composer, musical composer, compose music. Computer jobs, computer hardware engineer, like hardware, software we have. Computer operator jobs, computer programmer jobs, computer repairer jobs. Concierge, in buildings, the people who sit at the desk in the buildings and make arrangements for the guests and all that, and the residents. So these are concierge jobs, right? Construction jobs, construction workers, and so many people who are involved in making constructions to constructing buildings, so on and so forth. Construction carpenter jobs, cook jobs, correspondence, clerk jobs. If you do correspondence, it means you write letters and email and things like that. That's correspondence. Counselor jobs, courier jobs, court clerk jobs, court reporter jobs, court clerk, court reporter. Craft artist. Wow, there are too many jobs here. Crane and tower operator jobs. So crane is like those very tall things that are used for making buildings, right? So does everybody know what crane is? Crane. This is a crane. So crane and tower jobs. So it's, the person who sits here is a crane operator. Creative writer jobs, criminal investigator jobs, curator jobs. Who's a creator? Curator, a person in charge of a museum or a zoo. So a person in charge of a museum or zoo, is a curator. Tailor, we know, customer service, representative jobs, cutting machine operator jobs, those who work with cutting machines, dancer jobs, data entry operator jobs, that's you put in data, day in, day out, you just sit there and you enter data on the computer. That's called data entry. Decorator jobs, dental assistant jobs, you're a dental assistant, you work with a dentist. Dental hygienist job, again you work with a dentist and make sure that everything is hygienic and clean and nice. Dental laboratory technician jobs, dentist jobs, designer jobs, detective, you know detective. Some women hire detectives to find out if their husbands are cheating. These are detective jobs. Sometimes you want to find somebody who killed somebody. That's a detective job. Dietetic technician jobs. Those who tell you what diets to take. Dietetic technician. Director of marketing jobs. Director of social media marketing jobs. Dishwasher jobs. Dispatcher jobs. Who are the dispatchers? Do you have any idea? Those who sit somewhere and in a phone, and for example, in a cab agency service, when people call a cab, the person who tells cab drivers where to go, that's a dispatcher. That they dispatch cabs to different destinations. So those are dispatchers. Distribution manager jobs, door-to-door sales jobs, that's door-to-door sales. Driver sales worker jobs. Dry cleaning machine operator jobs. You know dry cleaning. You take your clothes to a dry cleaner to wash them or dry clean them for you. Economist jobs, editor jobs, the editors of newspapers or magazines, or we also have video editors. Education administrator jobs, education teacher jobs, education counselor or vocational counselor jobs that give you counseling or for vocation to talk to different people. We have education psychologists, electrical engineers, electrical engineering technicians, electrician jobs. We talked about electricians. If something happens to the lighting and to the lighting system of the house, you want to change the lighting system of the house, or something burns, you call an electrician. Elementary school teacher, elevator installer and repairer, emergency medical technician, and paramedic jobs. Who are the paramedics? Emergency medical technician and paramedic. Paramedic people are the people who come with ambulance. So if he's a paramedic, he works in an ambulance. Well, he drives the ambulance, or he comes with the people and take the sick people to. They come for medical emergencies. So these are paramedic jobs. Employment interviewer jobs, engineer jobs, engineering jobs, engineer manager jobs, engineer teacher, technician jobs, English language teacher jobs. Oh wow, my God. Entertainer and performer jobs. Those for entertainers. Who are the entertainers? Characters who are into music, into TV, and they have talk show hosts, or people who are into the music industry or movies and all that. They're all entertainers, right? This is all entertainment. Cinema, movies, theaters, TV, and music industry. It's all entertainment. So if somebody's an entertainer, environmental engineer jobs, environmental engineering technician jobs. We have farmers and farm workers and fashion designers and fashion models and fast food cooks and file clerks and financial analysts and firefighters and fishing or foresting supervisors, fitness trainers. Fitter jobs, who are the fitters? Like gas fitters, those people who put pipes on the street for you. Gas pipes, they work them into the ground, they put them to the ground, they're gas fitters, for example. Flight attendants, floor finishers, those who actually finish the floors of the house, they put good layers on it. Floor layer jobs, food servers, foreign language teachers, forensic investigators are the people who, after somebody dies, for example, they come to see if the person was killed or was a natural death. The cause of death was natural. So forensic investigator, it's like a legal investigator to find out whether or not if somebody's killed, for example. What's the evidence? They check to see if the person was killed or died a natural death. Forest and conservation technician jobs, forest and conservation worker jobs, forester jobs, funeral attendant jobs, funeral, when people die, they go, gas appliance repair jobs, general manager jobs, general practitioner jobs, geologist jobs. Geologists know about the earth, right? Glass blower. Have you seen glass blowers?
Yeah.
When they want to make glass. And glazier jobs. Who's a glazier? Glazier.
In the
No, glaziers make windows, window panes. Who makes our window panes? They're glaziers. So glaziers make windows. Window glass, that's a good job. Government jobs, graphic designers, hairdressers, or cosmetologists. Yeah, cosmetologists are like makeup artists, right? Hazardous materials, remember hazardous materials, removal worker jobs. They come remove hazardous materials. Head nurse jobs, healthcare, heaters, heating and air conditioning mechanic jobs, highway maintenance worker. Historians, home jobs, home appliance installer, home appliance repairer, host and hostess jobs, hotel desk clerk, house cleaner jobs, housekeeper jobs, HR management jobs, human resource management jobs, industrial engineer jobs, inspector jobs, insurance investigator jobs, insurance appraiser jobs. A person who appraises something looks at the damage and says, oh, this much damage has been done. These appraiser jobs in insurance companies, they evaluate the damage. They say this much damage should be paid. $5,000 should be paid. $100,000 should be paid. $1 million should be paid. These guys are the ones who put a price on the damage. Insurance sales agents, insurance underwriter jobs, interior designers, interpreters, or translators. You know translators translate? Interpreters translate simultaneously. Yeah? So an interpreter is a simultaneous translator. I speak and you translate. You're an interpreter. If I write and you translate, you're a translator. Interviewer jobs, janitor jobs. Who's a janitor? Somebody who takes care of a building. Opens and closes doors, makes sure. Jeweler jobs. They're jewelers and they work in jewelry, right? Judges, kindergarten teachers, landscape architects, landscape artist jobs. The landscape, right? You know landscape artists? If the landscape, the garden looks nice, the flowers look nice around an area, or that's a landscape artist. Landscaper jobs. Lathe operator jobs, the kind of machine in a factory. You don't necessarily need to know this. Laundry or dry cleaning worker, that's good. Law clerk. Law enforcement jobs. Like law enforcement jobs are like the police force. It's the law enforcement, the police. Lawyer jobs, legal secretary jobs, legislator jobs, they work in Congress or Parliament, right? Librarians, work in libraries, librarians. Licensed practical nurse jobs, lifeguards, swimming pools, right? Or by the beach. So they're lifeguards. Locksmith jobs, we talked about it. If you lose your key, or if you want to copy your key or have some problem with the lock, locksmith. Locomotive engineer jobs, logging worker, loggers. Maid jobs, they work inside the houses, right? Women who come for cleaning. Maintenance and repair worker jobs. This is for repair. Makeup artists, managers. Manicurists. I think everyone knows what a manicurist is. And then we have pedicurists, right? Pedicurist. Pedicurist, manicurist, market research, marketing manager, marketing clerk jobs, massage therapist jobs. Massage therapist. And you know what we have? What do we call a person who does massage? Masseur for a guy, masseuse for a woman. Yeah? Masseur and masseuse. He's a masseur. He's a massage therapist. He's a masseur. And masseuse is like a woman who does massage. Material movers jobs. Material movers jobs. Yeah. So material moving worker jobs, mathematician jobs. We talked about it. Meat packer. They pack meat. Media and communication worker jobs. It's 3 o'clock, so I'll be even faster. Medical assistant jobs, medical secretary jobs, medical technician jobs, metal molding operator jobs, metal pourer and caster jobs, metal worker jobs, microbiologist jobs, middle school teacher jobs, military officers, miners who work in the mining. So miners. Motion picture jobs, that is in the movie industry. Yeah, motion pictures in the movies. Motorboat mechanic, motorboat operator, motorcycle mechanic, movers. Who are the movers? They move things from one house to another for you, right? They come and move your stuff. Movers. Movie director, multimedia artist jobs, municipal clerk, museum conservator, yeah. Music arranger or orchestrator jobs, music composer jobs, music instrument tuner, a person who tunes your piano or guitar, musician jobs, night security guard, night shift jobs, nuclear engineer, nuclear power reactor, nursery manager, nursery worker, nutritionist. You know nutritionist, right? Who is an obstetrician? A doctor who helps with the birth of a child in the hospital. That's an obstetrician. Office clerk, optician. Optician, if you have problems with your eyes, you go to an optician to help you with the test. You have an eye test, right? Optometrist jobs. Optometrist is a person who helps. Orthodontist is a dentist who helps you with those things on your teeth, right? The wiring. Orthodontist. You know orthodontics and orthodontist. Painter jobs, a painter. Painter and illustrator jobs. Paralegal jobs. Paralegal jobs. If I get a ticket in driving and I want somebody to help me with the ticket, I call it paralegal, right? Pastry chef. They make cookies and pastries, right? Payroll clerk for accounting. Pediatrician jobs. The doctors of children are pediatricians. Pediatricians are doctors of kids. Pediatricians. Children's doctor. Personal trainer jobs, if you want to be fit, you'll have a personal trainer. And pesticide sprayer, somebody talked about it the other day. It was Claudia. This is pesticide sprayer. Somebody in a farm kills those the pests. It's a pesticide sprayer. Petroleum engineer jobs, petroleum technician jobs, pharmaceutical sales representatives, pharmacist, photographer, physician, physician assistant, physicist. Remember the difference between physician and physicist? So physician was a doctor, physicist was somebody who studies physics. Pipe fitter, plumbers, podiatrist, doctor who's a specialist at dealing with feet. Yeah, feet and your fingers, and toes, sorry, not fingers, with your feet. It's a podiatrist. Poet, lyricist, police and sheriffs, police detective, political science or political scientist, portable power tool repairers, postal clerk, postal potter jobs. Who's a potter? Yeah. After 3. Pottery. So these things, this guy who makes things like this, guys, do you see the picture? This is a potter. This is pottery. Poultry cutter jobs, they cut, like, if you buy poultry. PR, you know, public relations, PR managers, power plant operators, precious stone workers, precision printing worker jobs, preschool education, preschool teacher jobs, pressing machine, printing machine, private detective, producer jobs for TV, producers and director jobs, product promoter jobs, if you want to do advertisement, product safety, production laborer jobs, production manager jobs, professor jobs, project manager jobs, project managers, proofreaders and coffee marker jobs, so psychiatrists. You know, guys, the difference between psychiatrists and psychologists? And we're so done, we're so finished. Public relations jobs, radiation, radio and television, real estate, you know real estate, receptionist, recruiter jobs, and religious workers, restaurant cook, retail roofers, satyrs, salespeople, sculptor jobs, secondary schools, secretary jobs, sheriff, ship captain, whatever ships, shoe and leather, and singer jobs, sketch, social workers, we talked about him, soil, sociologist, soil whatever, sound engineers, space scientists, and special education, statistician, steel workers, yeah, surgeons, tailors, taxi drivers, teachers and telephone operators and tellers in the bank, textile workers, tractors, trainers, transportation, travel agents, travel guides. Wow, you see all the jobs in the world. Video editors, waitresses, watch repairers, warehouse workers, welders. Yeah, zoologists finished. We're done with the jobs.